Welcome to today's episode of Fire in the Belly. This is where we get to hear some pretty inspiring stories from some amazing people. You know, it's always an absolute pleasure to sit down, take time out, and have a warts and all conversation about their journey. I'm always intrigued by what it's taken for people to get to where they are today, and hopefully in this interview we get to hear some more about that. From this, my mission is to help people to find their own fire in their belly, and from that, to live the mightiest version of you. So without further ado, sit back, relax, and enjoy today's guest. Success is a process, not an event. Good afternoon. Here we have with me today James Perry. Thank you for coming on, and
thank you for having me. That's great stuff.
If you'd just like to introduce yourself, really, and who you are and what you are and where you're from.
Who am I, Pete? I am...
Deep question to start off with.
Very much so. James Perry from a small village in County Down called Loughin Island.
Okay.
500 people. I'm related to 499 of them. My mother is originally from the village, and in my opinion, it's one of the most beautiful wee places in the country.
Well, okay. Always from there, been there?
Always from there.
Yeah.
My mum was actually born in the house that we live in.
Oh, okay.
Crazy one. She was born and died in the same room.
Well.
Which is a very unique one. Mm-hmm. And yeah, so the house itself is 130-year-old Irish country cottage built for my great-grandfather. And yeah, it's my house, and I love it, and I love the place, and I love the people, and I'm still there. Who else am I? I'm a chartered accountant. That was my identity for many, many years until I decided to sort of modify that and go off on another tangent, and no doubt we'll talk about that. But
so what age are you?
I'm 40 years of age.
40 years. 40 years young.
40 years young is right. I still think I'm 21.
Don't we all?
Yeah, and somebody told me a bit through. It was my birthday on the 10th of July, and someone says, "I thought we were 28." I go, "Well, I'll take that."
Yeah,
I'll certainly take that. I don't think like I'm 40. I don't act like I'm 40. Don't act like an accountant. That's me. But yeah, and I would say, Pete, that I'm quite complex now. Mm-hmm. Because you know the personality tests you take, and you're one of these personality types. I think I'm a combination of 2 or 3.
Okay.
Certain elements.
Are you too smart for the test?
Probably too dumb for the test. They can't make up their mind who the hell this boy is.
Because I understand, because a lot of people actually do the test, but they're also psychoanalyzing the test itself.
Oh god, yeah, you can second guess the test.
Yeah.
I probably have done a bit of that.
Yeah, it's like what do I want to be and what am I and all that. Yeah.
So yeah, and I've probably got different elements and different ways of. I'm definitely the logical accountant on one hand, but I'm the people person on the other, and probably elements of the in between.
Okay.
So that's really who I am in terms of fire in the belly. My interests.
Had you heard of fire in the belly before?
I've heard of the phrase.
Yeah,
without a doubt.
What does it mean to you? If you?
It's your passion. Okay. That's what gets you up in the morning.
Okay.
That's certainly what I believe that saying to be. If you don't have a fire in the belly, I think you wouldn't maybe have as an exciting life as maybe what you should have or what you think you would have. And there are certain things definitely that get me to have the fire in the belly. Mm-hmm. Not business related though, believe it or not.
Okay.
And I don't know if you're going to come on to this in terms of actually asking what are my fires in the belly, but I suppose I've got 2 or 3 that are hugely about me. Number one's my mother. The other few would be Irish history is a massive thing for me, and travel would be another one.
Okay.
And the want of knowledge, which is another fire in the belly for me, which is possibly a gift I've inherited from my father, or something passed on by my father. So those things get me excited.
Okay.
Which is outside the realm of business, I suppose. But elements of that will become businesses at some point, if you know what I mean.
Sure. Well, the two are probably intrinsically linked.
Oh, completely.
Yeah.
And it is getting from that point of, say, 10 years ago where I was chasing the corporate career.
Sure.
And not being fulfilled. To now going in a different slant. I suppose the other thing that gets me fire in the belly too, Pete, is helping people.
Okay.
I love it whenever somebody comes to me and goes, right, James, I couldn't have done that without you. That means more than money sometimes.
Sure.
You know, whenever you see somebody who's, well, to put a bit of context in that, I'm an exam coach as well for accounting students. And whenever someone comes to me that they've failed an exam 3 and 4 times, and they come to me and go, I'm now fully qualified because of you, and the sort of direction I've given them, that gives me a bit of fire in the belly to go, wow.
Where does that come from though? I mean, helping others like that, and in that instance, I mean, is it something you struggle with, or is it?
I've always had a caring side to me.
Okay.
So, and I'll maybe touch on my mum. So my mum was ill for as long as I can remember.
Okay.
And I was a carer from the age of 4 years of age. So that caring, people-pleasing, empath side of me has always been there, and was fostered and grew since I was a child. So it's always been there. Always the want to help people. And for many years to help people to the detriment of even of me, which was something I had to start to address a bit more. But yeah, came about from my mum and my mum's illness, and me having to be there for her, even from a very, very early age. So certainly that's been there, and it's just now changed in a different way that I help people develop their career.
Okay. Because you did say, I mean, obviously your mother was your number one in terms of fire in your belly. I mean, can you give us a sort of your mother's journey? If that's okay?
My mum had multiple sclerosis. And my first memories of my mum, Pete, was being her second walking stick. So she had her walking stick in the right hand, and had my right hand shoulder in her left hand. And that was from the age of 4, and I can still physically feel her hand on my shoulder. I can still feel it, which is mental. And I suppose she will always be my number one fire in the belly. She'll always be my number one passion, because any public talk that I ever give, she'll always be there. She'll always be in the conversation.
Sure.
Because what happened to her was, so in the age of me being 7, she essentially, Pete, what happened was my birth was the trigger for the MS to really ramp up. She'd had it for years. Hindsight's a wonderful thing. My dad has said, yeah, son, she had it whenever we were going together before we got married. I never knew. It was never diagnosed. Then whenever I was born, it triggered something, and it then became really rapid. So by the age of me being 7, she was completely wheelchair bound then. And by the age of me being 14, she went into a comatose state. So that was where she was blind, she couldn't talk, she had to be fed through a nasal tube. She had locked-in syndrome, so therefore only thing she could move was her eyeballs. So that happened whenever I was 14. So, but all I can describe it as, Pete, is that my mum, I can't physically express in words how much I loved her. I just can't. Whenever your mother becomes your child, and you feed her, and you cut her hair, and you help to wash her, even down to the fact that you empty the urine out of her catheter bag, something incredibly, incredibly special happens. So that's the reason why I'm so passionate about her. And I will tell her story. And if that helps anybody at all to get through things, I tell anybody. And yes, whenever you become as you know the feeling you get of seeing a newborn baby, and they look perfect and they're lovely. That's the way I felt about my mum, because she was perfect. Now there's repercussions in that, and that's maybe where we'll get to in certain things in my development.
Sure.
But that's where it all stemmed from. All that.
And that drive, when you say that sort of gives you the fire in the belly, what did it do for you though? Is it?
I had done anything in my life to help to make her proud.
Okay.
Albeit she probably didn't even understand, but it would have done it anyway.
Okay.
So the other thing that came through, Pete, with that was that my mum had life snatched away from her, and had opportunity snatched away from her. To go from being a normal lady, as the good old saying, courting, so courting my dad, and having that, and walking up the aisle, to then having all that snatched away. So, you know, things like my love of travel and things, mum couldn't do that.
Yeah.
So therefore, that's where I'm going. On one hand, going, I'm frigging lucky to have all these bloody opportunities that she unfortunately didn't have. So that's definitely one aspect of it.
Was there ever any anger towards it, or have you always been?
One bit, yeah. In my mid-30s, I became quite angry on it. But that was a knock-on effect of other stuff.
Sure.
Of my breakthrough, I should say.
Sure.
So whenever I was going through things, so I didn't have teenage angst. I didn't have the typical teenage years. Because I look after my mum, so I couldn't rebel or do this, that, and the other. And there is only me, by the way, so I'm the only child.
Okay.
So, which again adds another wee layer of pressure.
Sure.
So it was me and my dad, and we were this wee team that cared for mum 24/7. So it did add that wee bit onto it. It didn't do the rebellion, didn't do the teenage years, but it did do it at the age of 35. So there was teenage years too late or midlife crisis early. I don't really quite know what happened there.
Yeah.
But what came out in the wash was I was a wee bit angry, but not for that long, but going, why did that happen to her?
Sure.
Why did it happen to mummy, who was, by all accounts, I didn't know her. Believe it or not, I didn't really know my mum or her personality. But from other people who said, I've always heard the saying that she was the most lovely girl in the village in Loughin Island. Physically and as a person, apparently she was lovely. So where you go and you sit back and you go, why did that have to happen to my mum? Where she was completely decimated. You know what I mean? Even down to the fact they lost 3 children before me.
Wow.
So my mum and dad had lost 3 children. 9 days, 5 days and 2 hours old. And then had me. So you're going, right, this isn't the average run-the-mill struggle here.
Sure.
This is just crazy stuff. So I had a bit of a go at religion, actually. I had a bit of an anger towards religion in that respect.
So pre-35, you're quite religious?
So I was raised stereotypical Irish Catholic upbringing.
Okay.
And my dad, through his own admission, would have been a priest if he didn't meet my mum.
Okay.
So therefore, going to mass and the rosary and praying and that whole Catholic thing was hugely important in our house. And then when we associate prayer and the religion aspect with, you've got this person here and we pray that she could become better. So therefore that all came together. And then whenever she was, so mummy died whenever I was 28. So it wasn't to say she died whenever I was 35.
Yeah.
So it still took that 7-year period for me to start to process this and go, I now struggle with this Catholic teaching. And if there was the God, why did you let her be like that?
Sure.
So it all came through very dramatically. So much so that I don't go to mass anymore. I don't necessarily pray anymore. And I would have a different type of spirituality now.
Okay.
So therefore, yeah, it was all very interesting how that all was all came out of the melting pot and how that reaction was. But it was a very, very short bit of anger. But it took a long time for it to come out.
Sure.
I was quite suppressed for a while.
Have you been able to summarise it, or have you been able to conclude it in any way?
Well, that anger was really, really short-lived because what I see it as, Pete, is that it was a blessing.
Okay.
It was a gift to me. Now, if it was anybody who should have been angry, it would be my mum.
Sure.
Where the way I described it is like this, Pete. If I was to say to you that my mother became my child and my dad is my best friend, that's a fairly lucky position to be in, isn't it?
It is. Yeah.
And to have this thing where I can say that I can't describe in words how much I adored my mum, and I've never had a crossword with my dad. I think that's a fairly good blessing. That's a fairly
testament to your parents.
It's a fairly lucky position to be in. So after I had that wee bit of a blowout, which was probably going to happen anyway, I calmed down a lot about that, and I accepted it. I accepted it, and all the sort of uniqueness that came through from it. So that's about my mum's a passion, and there's definitely a fire in the belly. So much so that, like I said to you before, if I do a public talk, she will always be there. She'll always be the punchline at the end.
Sure.
To say to people, "You're friggin' lucky, by the way." You know what I mean? My mum got it all snatched away. So if you see me cry about this, that, and the other, you're lucky. You know, so the most basic thing, even of seeing someone or being able to talk or being able to eat or to be able to walk a step. My mum had all that taken away from her. So yeah, that's definitely passion number one with that. But you're right, I've got an exceptional father, an exceptional man, who's got his own challenges right now as well.
Sure.
So, but yeah, that's definitely the first passion. Always very passionate about my mum. Very, very lucky to have her.
Were you aware from that from an early age, or?
Oh, I thought every mother had a walking stick.
Okay.
I thought every mummy had a walking stick.
Sure.
Funny enough, I was talking to someone about this over the weekend. He asked me, James, what's your first childhood memory? My first childhood memory is so I started school at 4, not at 5. I started school at 4. And one of my first childhood memories is of being led to the school gate by my mum and turning round, and she had fell on the road. So my mum the school was about a mile down the road. She would have walked me to school, left me off, I turned around and I seen her lying face first on the road, and she had smashed her teeth. So my mum fell, smashed her teeth. That's my first childhood memory.
Wow.
So yeah, I was very, very conscious of the fact that, but I thought every mum had a walking stick. The other great conscious piece was, at the age of 7, mum went into the wheelchair, and I thought this was great crack. Because I would have got her in the wheelchair and kept her up and thought she was like a car. And the other thing, Pete, is because of my mum's medication, she had a hysterical laugh. So mum was never down because she was doped up. she was great crack.
Yeah.
And she would have laughed and carried on and mum would have laughed so much she would start to cry with laughter and made everybody else laugh with her. So whenever I tip her up in this wheelchair, for flip's sake. So again, what wonderful memories I have.
Sure.
I can't remember any bad times, if you know what I mean. Like I describe it to people, I had an Alice in Wonderland upbringing. Which again leads on to problems further on down the road because it isn't truly reality. But that's what I had. And then my dad retired at the age of 45 to look after my mum full time. So he became her full-time carer and then reared me at the same time and brought me up. So very much a strong influence from my father, which probably then was where the religious element came through.
Yeah.
So yeah, upbringing was quite unique in a way, but I wouldn't have changed it for the world. It is who I am, and I've got that empathetic side of me and that emotional side to me, albeit quite a sensitive side, perhaps too sensitive, and I've had to build that bit of resilience up over the last number of years with that, but I would never change my childhood, not in the slightest.
And as a kid, were you playful, good at school, bad at school?
I was always great at school.
Okay.
Academically, my dad's from Downpatrick, which is 7 miles away from Loughinisland.
Foreigner then?
Well,
Blowing.
Completely right. He's lived in the village 54 years and he's still called the Blowing. But as one Loughinisland native said, it was the best Blowing ever into the village.
There you go.
Because he is probably one of the pillars of the community at the minute, or always has been. But there's also a saying in Downpatrick, apparently, there's no such thing as a stupid Perry. So academically, I was always quite on the ball. But went to primary school, and our local village primary school was shockingly poor. Let's put it like that. So we had this old headmaster who was early 70s, still teaching at feet and inches. Awful. The school itself was a ramshackle of a building. Still had outdoor toilets. Still the school bell was one of us with a handheld bell running around the school, ringing the bell.
Yeah, keep it simple.
One of these old, just had never caught up. So even though I was still quite intelligent in school, I feel the transfer test, the 11 plus, which again was probably one of the moments in time that made me. The second, actually, I have a couple of core motivations. Number one, obviously, was my mum. Number two was this particular instance where I failed the transfer test, the 11 plus, and my headmaster, this decrepit old 70-year-old, who appeared very decrepit to me at the time, went, but James, you're not going to pass 11 plus. You were never going to pass it. You're not particularly intelligent. I knew I was. So I went then with the entirety of my class to the local high school. So every year, the class in school was just picked up and put into the local secondary school.
Yeah.
Just happened every single year. So I went again with that cohort of students, and the first ever parent-teacher meeting in my secondary school, the teacher turned around and says to my dad, Mr. Perry, we don't know why your son's here. James should be in grammar school. What's he doing? I went, yeah, that's just what happens in our place. But having said that, Pete, I excelled in high school then. So I was the head boy in the school. Any Gaelic football team or soccer team, I was captain of it. Results-wise, in terms of our schooling, I had exceptional results for the level of the school. I think I came third in the school in terms of my GCSEs, and was the number one boy in terms of results. So all that stuff, plus I was with my friends and all the other extracurricular stuff, I never really lost out. So that was a blessing.
You're very self-driven, very...
Oh, completely I always have been. I don't really know. Where's that come from? I've never been driven by my dad. He's never pushed me in any direction. He's always been of the attitude, I leave what needs to happen with our James. Albeit my dad's an incredibly intelligent man, albeit he wasn't particularly self-driven. So I've always wondered, why is that? Have I always done that? Well, circumstances didn't let him to be self-driven, let's put it like that.
Sure.
But in terms of schooling, in terms of early life, I was always known, my identity was James is an academic. That was always my identity at the time.
It was driven into you.
Aye. And my dad's thing was always education. Maybe for the fact that he didn't have a full education with his circumstances. Maybe I might come on that one. But so the value of academia and the value of an education was always pushed upon me. I always remember one of the first conversations Pete and my dad had was I was obsessed with football. Probably I was obsessed with Gaelic football. That's a very strong. Our village is quite a strong tradition of Gaelic football. So what happens is at a certain age, 6 and 7 years of age, you go down to the Gaelic club and this is what you do.
Yep.
So not only was I playing Gaelic, I was playing soccer and I was playing badminton, and I was starting to go into the gym and all that type of thing and working out. And I remember my dad had the chat with me where he sat me down, probably in third year. So what age are you in third year? 14?
Yeah, it would be, yeah.
So you're 14? And he sat down and said, son, you actually have to not be out every single night. You actually have to start putting a wee bit of work in. So we did have that chat, and then 4th and 5th year was fine, was grand. So done that. I then went to Patrick Tech, as they used to call them back then, to do my A-levels, and I struggled. The very first year I struggled because you go to the technical college, it's like university at the age of 16, like going to uni. They don't care if you go to lectures or not, or classes. And so I had all this freedom, and I'd done my A-levels with maths, accountancy and politics. Don't know why I chose politics, but I messed about. So I was given all this freedom. I messed about. I also went from just pure GCSE maths to A-level maths without any step in between, because I didn't go to the grammar school, and I found that incredibly tough. So one of the greatest decisions I've ever made in my life was I decided to repeat my first year at A-level again. And all my mates went on ahead. So I was there by myself. And albeit then I made obviously new friends. The lecturers told me, James, you're crazy. My dad told me I was crazy. Saying, look, it'll all click in your second year of A-level, it'll all click. And I knew it wouldn't. I was struggling. So probably the most mature decision I've ever made was whenever I was 16 years of age to repeat my first year at A-level. And everything clicked. Maths became incredibly easy. Accountancy became incredibly easy. And A-level became effortless for me. Effortless. I made new friends, whatever else, and then I was one of the top students in the college in terms of my A-level results. So again, that thing of James being the academic continued on. And I put down in my UCAS form that my first choice was doing accountancy in Queen's. And I never thought I'd actually get to that stage. And in the greater Perry family, even though there's no such thing as a stupid Perry, we didn't have a tradition of going to university. So whenever my dad left me off at the gates of Queen's to do my accountancy degree, he was crying because he never thought he'd have a son going to university. Because his whole background was he left school at 14. He was one of 15 children, brought up during the war.
15 children?
My dad's one of 15 children, yeah. And he was one of the oldest, so he had to leave school at 14 to go out to work. He went and became an engineer to bring the money back to my granny because she was popping out another dozen children. And my dad had help with that. So, and that's where me and you talked previously about a block about money. And that's where that block, through my DNA, possibly came to me. So he looked at me walking in through the front doors of Queen's and he couldn't believe it. And he started crying.
Sure.
And so what happened then was I excelled then in uni. And albeit, maybe that was imposed as well because I travelled. So I didn't stay up in Belfast. And I travelled because Mum was still living and Dad still needed me in the evening time to support him. So I literally went up, went to class, came back, done my studying, whatever, and academically, I got a first class degree, which was possibly one of my greatest achievements.
Wow.
And in a class of 200, there was only 4 got a first class degree, and I was one of them. Which, yeah, as I say, still one. I'm quite passionate. Well, I'm quite proud of that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, don't tell that many about it. I've got a good friend tells everybody. My dad tells everybody.
Sure.
Very, very rarely.
Did you do that for you, or did you do that for your parents? Or?
I've done it for my mum. I've done it for me.
Sure.
Because of the 2 motivations. Number 1, mummy, and number 2, to prove that a good old headmaster at the age of 11 wrong.
Screw you.
Completely. 2 fingers up to him. And I told him. So at that stage, I was all guns blazing. I'm going to become a chartered accountant. Done a master's after that in University of Ulster, and then I joined Grant Thornton at the age of 23 and done my training contract with them. And became qualified in 2007.
Okay.
So that was, but again, Pete, I still had the identity of being an accountant, which possibly wasn't the fire in the belly. But I was conditioned. At that stage, I went through the whole process of going, there's going to be a job for you and whatever. And I suppose the fire in the belly was to prove everybody wrong and to prove my mum. So that's, the fire in the belly was the proof, not necessarily the vocation.
Okay.
And that's maybe the thing. So yeah, that first fire in the belly, number 1, was my mum. Was the way I could make her proud was through academia. And achieve in that sense.
Yeah.
So that was really that first element, and then how that came through. Which, yeah, it's funny how you look back on it now, and but even if I chose university, I don't know. But I suppose the world is very different to what it was 20 years ago, whenever I was going through that whole thing.
It's very interesting. I mean, saying that, you know, the education was more of a proof, not a vocation. Do you know what your vocation is now?
Helping people. Okay. So, and again, it's just coming through from the caring side. It's coming through from love to help people and getting that sense of satisfaction, like I told you before. That is vocation. And I was just using my experiences. So, accounting exam coach, which is my business. It's not for the love of accountancy, but it is for helping people getting to do what they want to do via obtaining a world-class qualification, a world-class professional qualification.
Sure.
That's now. So it's not the love of the fact that it's accountancy, but it is going, right, I got this world-class professional qualification and I've started my own business and I can travel the world and I'm an independent person and I've got credibility now. You look at the CV and you go, you're a qualified accountant, okay. You're no clown, you're no dozer, and people look at you and go, okay, this guy must have his crap together.
Sure.
So that's what I want to impart to people.
Yeah.
So if they don't see it as a drudgery of passing exams, but see it as an opportunity to go and do other things, that reframes it slightly different.
No, absolutely.
And that's my passion now, is to get as many people to see it that way.
So when did you... So I cut you off there, but you were saying you went through the master's side, Grant Thornton then, and so you were with Grant Thornton for how long?
So I was with Grant Thornton for about 9 years. I qualified with them, as I say, 2007. By that stage, I was earmarked as potential partner.
Okay.
So I wasn't even assistant manager in the place. And they parachuted me in to be a senior manager straight away, which was a massive, massive jump. So you're going at the age of 27, just out of being qualified and going, okay, you've potential to be a partner here.
Yeah.
Office managing partner, Sidney James, and return in 5 years. You've got all the skills. You have the technical skills. You have the people skills. Clients love you. That sort of stuff. Maybe this is the split personality, because technically I was fantastic, but also could get on really well. I could build rapport with clients, and they all loved me. And said, "There's a spot here if you wish to have it in 5 years." So they said, "Look," and at that time, a senior manager left. So we've got the right guy to pop me in. And honestly, Pete, at the age 27, being on 45 grand. In Belfast was going, whoa, I've made it. And then within 12 months, reality hit with the absolute pressure that was on it. So at 27, I was made staff manager of 17 trainee accountants who were my friends before that. That was tough because they seen me in a different light.
Sure.
I seen the whole other thing. I seen the whole world of work in a different light. And then I was given some of the office's biggest clients to deal with and some real technical, hardcore accountancy stuff. And I was in the audit department. But for that, with those experiences, some of the stories I can tell, it's fantastic. Then within about 18 months, I decided this isn't for me. That I didn't have a thick enough skin, maybe, at that time, to see it through in terms of partnership. And also, that didn't give me the fire in the belly. You know, you look at partners, they love it. I didn't love that.
If I've done my math right, you were not long in there when your mother passed?
I was there, she passed 2008 then, so I'd just become senior manager. So it was 27, 28, I think. Yeah, so that all came at once, actually. Yeah, that all came at once. I think I was promoted. I think I was just about promoted, and she died within 2 weeks, and just 2 weeks before or after the promotion. So yeah, that was all quite an enormity of stuff.
Sure.
To be perfectly honest, yeah, I'm just thinking about this now, is that maybe that bit of work had took my mind away completely from the fact of grief from my mum, because I was just so fixated on, let's give this a go to become partner.
Sure.
That's actually a bit of an enlightening experience right there. So yeah, then 2012 came. I left in 2012. I'd been thinking for a good while of leaving, and I then became financial controller of WKD, the drink. So the first role then was from becoming senior audit manager, going to become financial controller of $500 million turnover company.
Wow.
Which is insane. And that jump was crazy, because I wasn't an accountant or a financial controller in the industry at all. My first role in, my first step into it. And what the first role was to get a finance team, which was based in the south of England, and relocate a completely brand new finance team with processes and everything else into Belfast. And I went, oh God. So basically I had to get my hands dirty. So basically I had to do stuff that a normal finance controller doesn't really do. So I went and done it. I was there for a year and a half. I was burnt out after a year and a half of that. I was going, this isn't really for me. This definitely wasn't fire in the belly. Definitely not. So then I left and went to the government, went to the civil service, and took a £17,000 pay cut to go to the civil service, which is possibly the best move I've ever made. Not for the fact that I love to work in the civil service. Far from it.
Reverse motivation?
Completely. But what it did do was, Peter, gave me the scope to think about other things.
Okay. It's a breathing space.
Completely. So you could leave at 3:30. And you could do a few things. So then what happened was that I was asked to lecture in the University of Ulster. I'd done that. Helped a few people through their exams and that. And I woke up then about 4 years ago, in the middle of the night, 5 years ago maybe, woke up in the middle of the night and went, goodness, I've historically helped people through their exams. Why don't I start this up as a wee business? So I literally woke up in the middle of the night. Then over the next few weeks and months, I started writing blogs and put them up on LinkedIn and that. I got someone to do a website for me for 200 quid. And I bootstrapped this wee business and I went to people and charged them 40 quid an hour. And I drove to them. And they were going through their degree, or they were doing their professional exams, and then they were qualifying and coming to me going, thank you so much. Didn't reteach them anything. I taught them what I believed was common sense. How to study. Put together a study plan. Holding yourself to account. Time management in the time of the exam. You get the marks, you get the time, you divide it by your number of marks, and there you go. That sort of stuff that I've always thought common sense.
Yeah.
But whenever people get emotional and they're wound up and they're stressed, they can't see any of this.
Yeah, totally clouded.
Then that became a passion of mine to go, right, there's something to this. I specialise in accountancy students. That's not necessarily the passion, but the fact to get them through.
Sure.
And they can then go and do what they want to do. And then on top of that, Pete, I would talk to them about books, I would talk to them about travel, talk to them about what they want to do further on in their lives, talk to them what they're about. And that's probably a good 60% of my conversation with people. The accountancy stuff's the afterthought, but it's actually getting to see how they tick.
Where did that structure for you come from? I mean, it's very wise thinking.
I'm quite into psychology now.
Okay.
And I'm quite passionate about that and mindset. However, if you said to me 5 years ago the word psychology, I would have went, that's fluffy bullshit. That's crap. Because logical accountant James, his head worked like a spreadsheet.
Did you need it to?
No, because whenever that spreadsheet starts to delete and you question yourself, and I went through this stuff at 35 where it was the teenage years too late stroke midlife crisis too early, and you question everything and that spreadsheet starts to delete. You go, uh-oh, your mind is actually quite important.
Sure. So
I started to get reading a bit more on that, and the dramatic name for it is the Dark Night of the Soul. I went through one. I went through a cracker for 2 years. An absolute cracker for 2 years. And again, that's where my mum came through. That's where the grieving there started. That's where the anger came through and about why was that. That's the dropping of the religion. That is the what I call the mental breakthrough for me. And that's then what happened. And that's why then I imparted the knowledge to the others. Session number 1 of my coaching is your mindset and your motivation.
Sure.
Nothing to do with accountancy. That's why that came through, because I went through that myself. But maybe because I was this academic and I did see things, what I believe is common sense to me, and the techniques that I used. Some people don't see it, where I always did. And was able to have, I'm a typical accountant in this sense, Pete. I'm massive into process. Okay. Massive into logic.
You like the numbers.
And I love a structure. So to everything. So that's the reason why I'm going, okay, you're emotional now. You have no structure at all. You're like literally can't see the wood for the trees, and you've got a shotgun approach. Sorry, you're like a scattergun approach.
Sure.
Let me put a wee bit of logic into this, and then take small baby steps. The good old saying, you can't eat an elephant in one bite. Mm-hmm. That's what I say to people.
Sure.
Break it down into manageable, bite-sized chunks. So that's what I did do for people then, and still do now. Mm-hmm. And then add the psychology behind it as well.
Sure.
So that's really where that came from. So like I say, the fire in the belly with that is the helping people to get to where they want to by getting a world-class qualification. So the accountancy isn't necessarily the passion, but the coaching and the helping of people is the passion.
How much of that? I mean, I know we've had a bit of this conversation. How active is your ego?
My ego used to be massive. No. Let me rephrase that. My ego was never massive because I've never been a bragger. I've always been very much humble. My humility comes from my dad. Okay. But where the ego was, my ego drove me in certain aspects. I'll give you an example. Relationships, right? I always had to have a girlfriend because I never had a female figure. I never had my mother.
Sure.
So therefore I had to compensate with having a girl in my arm. And whenever the second really big relationship I had, whenever that ended, my ego started to disintegrate.
Okay.
Hence, that came at exactly the same time as this dark night of the soul. That was the trigger point probably for the dark night of the soul, where my ego just absolutely fell apart. But Pete, I didn't know what your ego was. Didn't have a clue. So that was just all a lesson in itself.
How did that manifest itself?
In absolute mental turmoil for 2 years.
Okay.
Not having a frigging clue who I was.
So inner chatter and voice and...
I was like a zombie. My dad was so worried about me for 2 years. A crazy thing, I'll say it, and I'll say it anyway. I haven't said too many about this. My dad's cancer sufferer now. The good old word disease, it comes from dis-ease. I think, I can't blame myself, but I think my dad's cancer came from the worry he had for me in that particular period in time. I know he was stressed out about me because I was like a zombie for 2 years. I'd already got up in the morning, didn't have a clue I was coming or going, went to work, done stuff, came back home. I was in a complete mental fog for 2 years. Didn't have a clue what I was doing. And then it cleared away and I had that mental breakthrough of what's the priorities in my life. It's not the bullshit conditioned route that most people go down sometimes. It is the travel. It is the different experiences. It is doing a business for yourself. It's a lifestyle for me now. But it took a hell of a lot of a struggle to get through that.
Sure.
Without a doubt. And I think my dad not understanding where I was coming from at all, because he's good old, hard, old school type of man.
Sure.
Especially when it comes to the male emotion stuff. He doesn't do male emotions.
Okay.
You're ultra Catholic, Irish man who just takes everything in the chin.
Sure.
So he's quite worried about me. But I come out the other end. And I owe a lot to that experience as well. I said this, I think, in another podcast, where I said I think everybody has to go through genuine heartbreak at least once in their life. And because that proper destructive, your heart is shown to you and ripped into in front of your eyes, because it restructured everything else for me. It really, really did.
I suppose it's the saying that to know the light, you've got to know the dark.
Completely. Completely. And remember, this is just to maybe box this one off in terms of the whole psychology piece. I remember going to see a counsellor. Seeing counsellors never really done very much for me, because they were telling me stuff I wanted to hear, but I needed to talk to people who I could relate to. Okay. So I eventually found a person who I could relate to, and I says to them, they were starting to talk to me about the power of thought, and I went, I says, I'm pre-programmed. I'm the DNA of my dad. You can't change the way I think. And he went, James, that's complete bollocks. That's exactly what he said to me. You can change your thoughts.
What age were you then?
35.
Oh, okay.
35. Actually, it was 36, sorry. It was 36, it was 2005. Sorry, 2015. And that, I'll never forget him saying that. Because now I understand what he meant. I never believed him at the time. And I could completely relate to his scenario because, believe it or not, he was a qualified accountant as well and went through. He wrote a book and he gave me the book, and honest to God, I think I could relate to every single page in the book. It was mad. Absolutely mad. And I owe a lot to that. And yeah, so I'm also quite passionate about if people are going through the same thing as I went through. I love helping them through that.
Is that cathartic for you? Or is
Very much so. Very, very much so. Like somebody said to me before, I've probably lived enough for 3 lives already at the age of 40. And if I can help anybody by trying to talk them through any of those experiences, I find it great. That is a passion. Because where we're sitting in this part of the world, fellas don't talk.
Sure.
At all. And unfortunately, we do have probably an epidemic of suicide in this part of the world as well. I'll be perfectly honest, I'll tell you about a date, the 25th of June 2015. I was going to tell my dad that day to section me. I was looking up stupid stuff on YouTube, or not, maybe not on YouTube, it's not that graphic, but looking stupid stuff on Google, you know. How can you kill yourself quickly and easily? That was a sentence I fired into Google. Because I didn't know what I was doing. I was all over the show. I was in the middle of this mental fog, this dark night of the soul. And because I could talk to this guy and he gave me the book, and I went, it's not only me. That was amazing. So because I went to counselling, the counsellors couldn't relate to me.
Sure.
They're telling you what they've learned in a textbook or in a course, but this guy could. And that was hugely influential on me, definitely was. Hence, if I can help, so I would work, for example, with Young Enterprise, and if I can help any young guys at that age in school. I've also worked previously for another organisation locally, going into primary school, even talking about emotional well-being. But Pete, if you said to me 5 years ago I would be doing that, I would have laughed at you. Going, I wouldn't be talking about fluffy bullshit. But now
what do you say to someone?
First thing I would say to, especially if it's, I know I'm stereotyping males in this, but I would say to anyone, male or female, is go and try and find someone that you can relate to and you can talk to.
Okay.
The relatable part is very important. And I think that's the reason why people don't talk, because they can't find that person. Go and look. Hang on for 6 months in terms of your dark thoughts. Go and find someone that you can half relate to and just talk to them.
Sure.
There's the good old saying, but everything passes. Everything does pass. I never believed that. You don't say time's a great healer, and I go, aye, tell me another cliche, will you? But it does. I went to Nepal there 6 weeks ago. I'll probably go into that in a bit more detail in another bit, but I thought I was on the start of another dark night of the soul coming back from Nepal. I don't think I am now, or not as dramatic, obviously. But if I do, that's actually not as bad, because I know it will pass this time. So that's the thing. That's what I would say to someone, is that, you know, just hang on. And the other thing is, there is always somebody slightly worse off than you. And throughout my travels around the world, and I do a bit of travel, another fire in the belly, I've seen people in some dire straits. When we go to India, and you see people around the side of the street, mutilated, and skin cancer, and they're lying there begging, and you've got the rats and the dogs running around them. That's not particularly good.
No.
So here, whenever we've got everything, you know, at our fingertips, really, it does make you appreciate what you actually have. So I do say to other people, is that the other thing I'm passionate about as well, too, Pete, is the people, if they're in that position, try and find something you're interested in. Try and find something that to you puts a fire in your belly, and then go with it. You know, if there is that, I'd be honest with you, see, if it wasn't for accounting exam coach, I could be 6 foot under. That was a wee release for me. So instead of having the negative thoughts and being trapped in your own mind, oh, I've got to go and write a blog tonight.
Sure.
Or I've got to do a wee video for social media. And there's that distraction. So you know the good old thing, was a 5 to 9 bit of work so go and do your work and then go and do that wee thing you're interested in. Spend 2 or 3 hours 3 times a week. Go and do that. Because not only can maybe you get a full-time business out of it,
sure,
but it actually helps you and gives you a passion, gives you your fire in your belly, makes something actually worthwhile. And because of the good old phone and the good old internet now, it's changed everything.
It's never been so easy.
You know, how many YouTubers do you see, these idiots on YouTube, and they're 16 and 17, they've got £1 million. Millionaires by putting up old crap on YouTube. That's the thing. You know what I mean? That it can be done. And me waking up now and saying to people I've got a global coaching business, that's insane. I've had clients in Jamaica. I've had clients in New Zealand, Cyprus, Bulgaria. That's mad. A wee fella from Lough Island, can you down? And when I tell people that, I've had 120 clients plus around the world. That's insane. From waking up one morning and having an idea.
What's your plans for it?
Plans is to get it systemized. So get all the funnels right, get all the repackaging the course. I'm repackaging one course, and I'm in the process of starting another course, which is a career development module. So that will be your emotional intelligence, your networking, your leadership skills, all that. With the actual exam piece, I'm rebranding and repackaging that. Getting more content in their books, etc., and streamlining that process as well. So getting the video. So at the minute it's all one-to-one, face-to-face. The first 4 modules I'll be getting on the video.
Okay.
So that will be downloadable. The second part of the course will still have to be face-to-face.
Yeah.
So it's really that. My aim for Accounting Exam Coach is to get me a sustainable salary for only working 20 hours a week on it. Less, 15 hours a week on it. So if I can get that to an 80, 90, 100,000 turnover business for working on 15, 20 hours a week, that's where I'm going to take that. Which isn't a bad position to start off from.
To do what?
To go and do what I really want to do is public speaking.
Okay.
I want to be an international public speaker. And if that is talking about what I've just spoken about in terms of helping people through using my story to help them, I'll do it. That's what I really want to do. And to travel a bit more as well. So that's another passion. Another bit is the fire in the belly is travel. So Accounting Exam Coach, it will be a facilitation of me to actually do what I want to do. That'll be the 20% for me to go and do the 80% of what I want to do.
Sure.
Which is the public speaking, the networking, the helping people as well. And the travel in there too. So there's a lot to it. And then at least then I'll have, we were talking about this before we went on air about my fear of money. I have had that mental block. Came straight down from my dad completely. But it came straight down from my mum's family too, because my grandfather on my mum's side was a farm labourer, right? So there was never money about either family.
Sure.
And I need to overcome that block and have the stability of having a very good income from Accounting Exam Coach to facilitate everything else. So that's really where I've got it, where I want to have it. But I have to overcome that block.
Where's that come from?
Of money.
I mean, it's. I know you're saying obviously with your parents, but I mean,
I think it's programmed in our DNA as Irish people, as people living in this part of the world, whatever persuasion you want to call yourself, if you're Irish or British or Northern Irish. I think there is something hot-wired in our DNA in terms of being humble, in terms of not, the good old thing, well, this was definitely said to me, don't go above your station. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And maybe it's common, maybe this fear of money that we have as a society. Obviously there's trauma as well from the situation here over 40 years. I think there's a mixture of issues here regarding money.
Do you believe you deserve it?
I do now, completely. I believe I'm unique. We're all unique, but I actually think I'm the unique of the unique now. But it's taken up to 35 years for that process to start.
Sure.
And then at the age of 37, 38, actually trying to believe it. Don't get me wrong, I'll question myself all the time about it.
Sure.
But I do believe I'm in the top 5 to 10% of the world today. Tomorrow I mightn't think that, but today I do. And that's the thing, to be consistent.
To do what? Do you know?
I'm driven by, okay, my fire in the belly, my passions are achievements and experiences. So I want to achieve an experience what only top 10% of the globe does. And that's not necessarily money, right? That's a good bit of it, definitely. I'm not going to lie and be one of these heroes that go, I don't want money. I do want money.
Sure.
But I also want to travel. And, you know, there's the 8 official wonders of the world, the 7 modern wonders of the world, and the original ancient wonder of the world. So of those 8, I've seen 6. And in the next 2 years, I'll see the other 2, which is Chichen Itza in Mexico, the Great Wall of China. So once I've done that, there's not that many people in the globe who've achieved that. There's not that many people on the globe who's seen all 50 plus countries in Europe. I want to be 25, 26 in the minute in Europe. There's not that many people in the globe who start your own global business, global coaching business.
Sure.
So I'm actually driven by achievements.
Is it the achievement or being seen to have done the achievement?
No, not the scene. No. Not the scene. 5 years ago would have been the scene. Why? Because that would have bolstered my ego. Because I would have had very, very low self-esteem. So to compensate for the low self-esteem, I would have went for external stuff. The partnership in Grant Thornton, the most gorgeous girl in my arm. No, it's the achievement. The pure achievement. So for example, one of my lifetime ambitions was to see a monument in Egypt called Abu Simbel. And that's where Ramesses II declared himself divine. And last November, Pete, I eyeballed Abu Simbel. For anybody who can get a mental picture of it, it's this massive temple. It's massive, 3,500 years old, of 4 massive statues of Ramesses II. And inside is his temple to himself. He was the first pharaoh to call himself divine. Not like every other pharaoh that said self-divine. He was divine. He basically went, right lads, I'm the man. This guy ruled Egypt for 70 years. He lived to 92 and he had 150 children.
Only 150, right?
150 children he had, right? And he declared himself a god. For me to stand there and eyeball that monument was unbelievable for me. That wasn't nothing to do with money, nothing to do with status. It was just to go, holy shit, look at this. And not too many people would look at that. Because of something I loved. So whenever people around our age, whenever we were maybe teenagers, you wanted to play the Super Nintendo and the Sega Mega Drive. Was it called the Mega Drive at the time, man? Yeah. I wanted to go see Machu Picchu and see the Great Pyramid. What other age does that at the age of 13 or 14? But yet, I've done all that. So that's... I'm hugely...
It's ironic that, you know, thinking back, it's almost that... You know, and so you were saying with your father there that he supported you more or less to do whatever you wanted. You know, there was little or no direction, which sounds almost empowering in that.
His only direction, his only pressure was education.
Okay.
And a wee bit of religion, but never shoved that down my throat. The empowerment that my dad gave me, Pete, was my dad is a very intelligent man. You go into his bed and it's surrounded with books. So he gave me the love of knowledge. You know, I think I mentioned that at the start. I loved learning about stuff. From the most obscure thing at 14, where 13, 14, I knew what Machu Picchu was. Who the hell else knew that in the mid-90s what Machu Picchu was? But I did.
Yeah.
The other thing that my dad gave me the love of that knowledge. The other gift that my dad gave me was the love of Irish history and Irish culture, especially locally, which is a huge passion of mine. So much so that I'm starting a business with a friend of mine to try and show off South Down to people. We started this year, but it'll definitely come to the fore next year. And that's a huge passion of mine. So my village in Loughin Island, you draw a 10-mile radius from there, you have the Mourne Mountains, you've got St Patrick's Grave, you've got Ballyknoe Stone Circle, which is a 3,500-year-old stone circle. Even in my village, our old graveyard in Loughin Island is on an island with 3 ruined churches, the middle one being 850 years old.
Wow.
You go a further mile down the road from that, and there's a burial chamber that's 3,500 years old. And this is all a stone's throw. I would say here where we're standing here, you've got ancient things galore around here.
Yeah.
So I'm very passionate about where I come from as well. You know, you can stand in our garden and see the whole range of the Mournes in front of you. And it's just, I think it's phenomenal. So my dad gave me an awful love of where we come from, and the legends and the stories. And you know, you yourself, there's a story for everything around here.
Sure.
My dad gave me that. That's another passion of mine, which myself and a friend of mine will be turning into a business. You know, most foreign people, what do they think of the North? They think of Titanic and they think of Giant's Causeway.
Sure.
And maybe the Dark Ages and nothing else. I go, well, hold on. St Patrick was buried the most famous saint potentially in the world is buried 7 miles away from where I live. You've got one of the most dramatic mountain ranges, which I believe the Mournes are. So you go and target the cruise ships, and you say to the Americans and the Germans and whoever else, come on, we'll show you something fantastic. So yeah, that's hopefully next year. With that, so that's another gift that my dad gave me, was the love of here. And the stories and the culture and all that. So I love it. But that's the blessing that my dad has given me is the love of knowledge and the love of culture and the love of history and the love of obscure things as well.
What gives you energy?
That.
You can see it in you. I mean, obviously it's something that's...
Well, I had a friend...
It's a disbelief that everyone else doesn't get it. It's always that which is a passion.
I had a friend of mine up from Dublin on Friday. On Friday was a fantastic day in terms of weather. And there's a place outside Downpatrick called Saul. Right? And Saul is where St Patrick came back to Ireland in 432. Right? And on this big hill there's a statue of St Patrick. Yeah. So we walked the 15-20 minutes to go to the top of this hill. I call it Saul Mountain, but it's just a big hill.
S-O-L, is it? Saul? S-A-L?
S-A-U-L.
S-A-U-L, right.
It's the Irish for barn, because that's where St Patrick had his first church, in a barn outside Downpatrick. Walked up to St Patrick's statue, and you have got in front of your eyes, you've got the Mourne Mountains on your left-hand side, nearly the whole of County Down on your right-hand side. And County Down is quite dramatic because it's just small hill after small hill after small hill. You have got Scrabo Tower and Cave Hill in front of you, and you've got Strangford Lough to the right-hand side. Wow. Just from this one. And she just went, I don't believe this. I went, this is where I live. This is County Down. And she couldn't believe it. She brought up in the city centre in Dublin, and to see what she was looking at, she couldn't get her head around. And so yeah, I was quite proud in that fact. I'm going, yeah, this is my part of the world. This is my country. I love it. And then I brought her to my own village and to show her that old graveyard, which was an island, so people did row coffins across up until a couple of 100 years ago. And to show her a burial chamber 3,500 years old. That's very unique.
It is.
And over the last 18 months especially, I've brought people from South America to there. I brought people from Mexico, from Australia, and from America, and from England to my village. I can't believe it. So, and I've got my dad to thank for that, because a lot of people mightn't just even realise that what's on their doorstep, but we've got thousands of years of history right on our doorstep. I remember, just to close this one off, the whole travel aspect, I went to Machu Picchu and done the whole Inca Trail, so done the 5-day trek. And the last day, you stand at this bit called the Sun Gate, and the Sun Gate is where you see Machu Picchu for the first time. So we arrived there about 5 o'clock in the morning, 5:30, to see the sunrise. And there you go, there was Machu Picchu, and the tour guide turned around and went, "There's Machu Picchu, 450 years old." And the Americans and the Australians are all going, "Wow." What? Is that all? I said, in Ireland we've got one of the oldest buildings in the world. I turned around and he said to me, "Is that Newgrange?" I went, "Yeah." I says, "Newgrange is 500 years older than the pyramids and 1,000 years older than Stonehenge." I was outside Drogheda. And it's the oldest stone building in the world. Now, how unbelievable is that? But I wouldn't have known about that unless my dad took me to these places.
Sure.
And that's the sort of stuff that really gets me passionate and really gets me enthused. And so that's where I told this guide, for he was a member of UNESCO, and Newgrange is one of the 3 World Heritage Sites in Ireland. But just to tie it off, even with my mum, we couldn't travel far. Mum was in the wheelchair, we got the wheelchair, put it into the boot, and went to see Newgrange. Or drove around County Down, or went to the North Coast, to the Giant's Causeway, or go down to Cork. So that's another reason why I love the country, is because that's the places we could go on holiday, family holidays, was local. So even the circumstances of my mum gave me the passion for the history and the culture of this part of the world. So as you probably say, after that long rant, I'm very, very, very passionate about that.
That's good. I mean, it's you can tell it's obviously something that's within you.
Completely. And it's just getting people maybe a bit more aware of it. The friend of mine who we're going to do this business with, the business is called Calcialdi. So I'm the dude with the Celtic history, and he's the dude with the Celtic spirituality.
Well,
he's massive into consciousness, and he's massive into meditation and that sort of thing. And we both love Irish history, actually, and we've come together and put this. We've already done the dummy run, and then just life has taken over for both of us in terms of our hardcore businesses.
Sure.
So that'll be one to watch out for.
Just
Calcialdi Mindful Tours.
Mindful Tours. I like it. The drive, I mean, is there anything you can say or anything you've learned to put or to trigger that drive in somebody else? And when you see, because obviously you mentioned about the teaching, I mean, and the passion you have is abundantly clear. And is there a way when somebody, is lacking focus or what, is there a way that you can impart that, or that you know of?
Yeah, I think it's a tough one to find, because it's like trial and error sometimes. Again, I'll go back to the conditioning that society gives us. So how many people do you know that are in a job they don't like?
A scary amount.
A lot. And again, if it wasn't for the enlightening bit of me, I'd probably be still stuck in a job I didn't like either. So thankfully that got me to a job that I focused on. So the advice I would say to someone is going back to that 5 to 9 bit, where if it is something that you're genuinely interested in, try and extend that hobby, or all better if you can make it into a small business.
Sure.
See where that takes you, because you're only going to get the drive and the focus on something that you truly like.
Yeah.
If your career and you like the career and you're driven by that, as if what my bosses were, being partners in Grant Thornton, that's great. You go and do that. Or if you are like I know, for example, there's someone who makes dresses, for example, and they love every single minute of what they do, and they're focused and driven to make the hats or dresses. That's great. So I think the key for focus is to actually find what you like to do. I think it's a hugely important thing.
And for you, what do you think it is?
It's helping people again.
It's helping people.
Using the mechanism of my knowledge of accountancy, but the actual drive and focus of helping other people. Give an example, a girl in January passed. She failed her final exam for Chartered Accountants Ireland 3 times, and this was the last chance saloon.
Right.
If she failed it again, she wasn't allowed any more attempts.
Okay.
So she went through degree, went through masters, went through all that.
Yeah.
And for the sake of one 4-hour exam, it nearly was going to fall apart. Like that would have been a massive regret.
Sure.
And through me getting logic back in there and putting a process in place, she passed. And she rung me up and she was crying. And she went, Jim, I can't believe what you've done for me. That to me was that was an unbelievable feeling. It was more than any money. Just the satisfaction that I got from that and the drive to help more people through that journey. I've got another guy, friend of mine, he's now a very good friend of mine from Cyprus. He delayed his final exam for 9 years. He delayed it for 9 years. And he would freely admit that he got himself into a rut with life. And Pete, the very first session I asked him this question, I think this revolutionised the way he looked at it. I turned around and I said, what are you doing this shit for? I went, what? We're not talking about accountancy. No, we're not. What are you doing this shit for? And the next session, he went turn around and says, I'm doing it to make my daughters proud. Completely reframed the whole thing. He's now a finance director in a business, and he's an advocate for one of the global accountancy institutes.
Wow.
That drives me forward again to keep on going with this. So you see the pattern is that it's not accountancy, but it's that people going, oh frig, I can see things differently now. So that's where I get my focus from. It's just seeing what I've went through, looking out of, like someone says to me, take the shitty tinted glasses off and put different glasses on, because I've gone through it myself. So if I can help somebody do that.
Is it your purpose?
I've questioned that so many times. What am I doing? Or 6 weeks ago I questioned it. So I was in Nepal. Done a 195-mile walk around the Himalayas. See a lot of thinking time whilst walking around. And I come back home and again I went, what am I doing? Who am I? It's my purpose for now. Let's put it like that. Because again I might change my mind. Sorry, let me rephrase that. The mechanism is my purpose for now. But my purpose will always be to help people. Which whenever it's in my DNA, Pete. It's from being a child and look after my mum. I help people. Now, the thing is, I'll not help people now as much to the detriment of me, which I used to do. Especially, for example, in relationships, I would have given so much to a relationship and got very little in return. Would have been destroyed by it. But now, if I can help people in a very productive way, certainly that's always been going to be the underlying purpose.
Are you consciously able to conserve yourself and to preserve yourself?
I am now, yeah.
Yeah.
And also do things like things I never would have done before. So I would meditate every day.
Okay. 2
10-minute sessions.
Morning, evening, morning. No?
To be honest, I don't have a set pattern. That's just whenever I feel like it. I now love, there's no stigma now for me of doing something by myself.
Okay.
5 years ago, good old ego. You can't do something by yourself. You can't go to the cinema by yourself. You can't hop on a plane and do a city break by yourself. That's weird. It's not. So I conserve my own energies by clearing off and going on to getting a plane and doing an Airbnb and going to Madrid for 3 days. Dandering around an art gallery or dandering around the Bernabeu football stadium or just walking around one of the main streets. That's me doing that. So that's me recharging. Or quite simply, going for a walk down the old graveyard in Loughinisland. Sitting in the middle of a 850-year-old church and just taking it So that's me definitely recharging the batteries and taking care of myself. Especially if you feel I'm a bit knackered here. And now being my own boss, thankfully that gives me the chance to do that. If I want to take a half day off on a Thursday, I can do it.
Makes sense.
So definitely that's what...
In terms of on your spiritual journey, I mean, where would you say you're at?
I'm still learning that. I still don't quite know what spirituality is for me. I know it's not religious anymore per se, or a prescribed religion. I don't know my concept of a God or a creator or infinite intelligence. I don't really know what that is, but I know there's something else maybe. It's unexplainable.
So you don't practice
not anymore, no.
Traditional religion that we would know?
Not anymore. Not anymore. I did. I was a believer, definitely. I never would have missed Mass up until 3-4 years ago. Ever. Whereas now, I do ignore. Now, don't get me wrong. If anybody believes in what they believe in, that's up to them. And that's very good for them. Just because I've now changed my thoughts, I can never knock anybody for believing in what they want to believe in. My dad's still very much a practicing Catholic, and my dad saying the rosary is exactly the same as me meditating, and it's got him through. It still gets him through so much his own illness. That gets my dad through, and that's brilliant. Very much so.
What age is your father?
74. And his whole cancer thing did knock us both for 6. And I have I have the honour now of looking after him full time. So I'm his full time carer. And again, my business facilitates me being able to do that.
Sure.
But in terms of spirituality, I don't know where I am in terms of, but I know I'm on something that maybe I'll put it as a consciousness thing. So do I want to increase my awareness and consciousness of life? Definitely. How do I do that? Talk to people, go and spend a bit of time by yourself, whatever. Don't do it all the time, mind you. I'm not this guru who goes and sits under a tree for 15 hours a day, you know what I mean? I'll fall off the wagon and not meditate for a week. You know what I mean? Or that sort of thing. That's grand because it's human nature. But I know when like, you try to improve every day. That's try to improve. Just try to improve.
Sure.
That's where I am in my spiritual journey. There's more people that know a hell of a lot more about it than me. But just I recognise where I am and I'm more aware of who I am. Albeit I still can't quite understand it. But are we supposed to understand it? Don't know.
Who knows?
The mystery of life. If you could tell me the whole mystery of life, Pete, you'd be a wealthy man. Like.
That wouldn't we all? Well, I heard someone saying, the one of the best summaries, is sort of to say, I don't know.
Correct. Don't have a clue.
Don't have a clue. And just be willing to put everything aside, egos aside, everything aside, and just be able to say, yeah, I know enough to know that I don't know.
And will we ever, this is getting very deep, this one, but will we ever know? Will humanity ever know? Irrespective of how far science goes, I don't think we'll ever get to the end of that question.
I think personally, you just feel like you're standing on the edge of a reservoir, and in 20 lifetimes you'll not be able to compute what it is, and that's the problem. When you try and understand it,
I don't think we're developed enough as a species to understand. Maybe the good old, will it be God or infinite intelligence or source or universe or way? They've obviously designed it like that.
Yeah.
Or nothing, depending on your belief.
Who do you look up to? Who's your...
Oh, my dad.
Your dad, okay.
God, yeah. Got Pete for someone who's went through what he's through in terms of losing the children, and my mum, his wife, disintegrating in front of his eyes, him dedicating his life to his wife, dedicating his life to his son, going through illness with a huge faith that has never been shaken, to have the reputation that he has in his community, who, I'll give an instance of a month ago being in hospital, and the nurse came up to him and says, Jim, I'm going to ask you this questionnaire. Sorry, actually, she went, Mr. Perry, we're going to give you this questionnaire. And he goes, please don't call me Mr. Perry, I'm Jim. And turn around and going, we're going to ask these questions, but we already know the answer. Okay. Are you ever down? No. Do you ever get depressed? No. Do you ever give out to people or be angry? No. Did your mood ever change? No. Oh, that's fair enough. We understood. We knew that was going to be the answer, and they ticked off the questionnaire. To be like that and always be the same jolly wee man who's full of so much, his eyes sparkle. He's so much full of knowledge. All he wants to do is read and learn more stuff. I've never seen him down, ever. I've never seen him angry. There's not too many sons can say that.
No.
So he's completely look up to him.
Because I was going to ask, I mean, how did your father take your mother's passing?
I've only ever seen him cry once. He said the most immortal, I'll never forget this line. It was a sense of relief, to be perfectly honest, when we look back on it. Because Mum being like that for 14 years was horrific for her. Only reason, Pete, I wanted her to survive was because of me, being jealous.
Sure.
I wanted to tickle her and kiss her and, well, Mum, how you doing today? And talk to her even though she couldn't talk back. That was for me and him. That wasn't for her. So there was very much a sense of relief. But I only ever seen him cry once and be distraught once. My mum's brother died 6 months after her.
Okay.
Very dramatically over in England. Basically went and got his morning paper and was drinking his morning coffee and died in his seat.
Well.
And he was my dad's best man as well. We flew over to England to the wake. And it wasn't like an Irish wake, you know what I mean? So Mum's wake with 1,000 people through the house in 4 days. That's the truth. Whereas there was 6 or 7 people at this wake for a couple of days. And my dad looked into the coffin and burst out crying. That was the first time I'd ever seen him cry properly. And that was probably obviously a bit of mummy coming out there too.
Sure.
But my dad's taken on it is that, again, the Catholic thought of he believes Mum's in heaven. He believed that was his duty. And that will help him on his path to heaven. So he doesn't see it in a very sorrowful way. He also believes that Mum has been reunited with her 3 children who died. So that's his whole religion that gives him this comfort. So my dad's favourite saying is this. There was a famous pope called Pope John the 23rd. Right? And Pope John the 23rd's most famous saying was, my bags are packed and I'm ready to go. My dad has said that more than once to me. Whatever happens, if he was to pass tomorrow, my dad's happy. Which I just think is phenomenal.
That is.
And that's my dad's most famous saying. My bags are packed and I'm ready to go. Which is mad. So no wonder I look up to him. And we've never ride. There's only one thing I would ever criticise my dad for. He talks too much. So whenever we've heard the same story a millionth time, you go, oh God, Dyer saying that again. But he's telling people stories, and I've done a YouTube. I've done a Facebook Live with him, and I interviewed him. There's 7,000 views on it. I'm trying to get him to write a book. But he's unbelievable. Unbelievable wee man. Very happy, very content, very knowledgeable. Very, very lucky to have him. I'm very lucky to have the honour to care for him now. So, yeah, I've been blessed. I've been a full-time carer for both parents by the age of 38, which is a bit of a shout as well. Which I'm very lucky to. Don't get me wrong, I've had the odd day where I'm going a bit of pressure on my shoulders because just me.
Sure.
But you get through it. You get through it. Probably back to this caring thing that I've always done. So that's who I look up to. That's him.
Wow, that's quite something.
Yeah, and I was talking to someone yesterday about this one, Pete, about 2 memorable occasions I've had with him. So my dad would never have been a traveller. So I don't know where I get it from, but he loves travelling around Ireland. It's fine. But never wanted to go further afield. Never had a passport until he was 70. Until I made him get one. So took him to Rome for his 70th birthday. Had to get an emergency passport because it was a surprise. Took him to Rome, the Vatican and things like that. That's where he maybe would have wanted to see. So we went to the Sistine Chapel. I turned around, he was crying. Put his arm around me and went, son, never thought I'd ever see this. Seen the Pope the next day. That's one memory I'll never forget. Second time then I took him to Berlin. An ulterior motive. So I'm an Egypt nutcase, and I wanted to go and see the bust of Nefertiti, which is in one of the museums in Berlin.
Right.
But my dad's massive into the world wars and the Cold War. He knows all about that.
Okay.
So of course Berlin was going to be a great thing for him to see. So we were in McDonald's, believe it or not. We were in a McDonald's, and I turned around and Jim had disappeared. But the McDonald's was across from Checkpoint Charlie.
Okay.
And I turned around, and my dad was really struggling to walk at this stage. He needed a hip replacement, and he was on his wee stick. I turned around and he was doing a wee jig around Checkpoint Charlie. I'm going, Jim, what are you doing? So in Checkpoint Charlie, you've got the Russian soldier and you've got the American soldier. I know they're for tourism now, but they're still both soldiers. Yeah. So Jim was talking to both of them, as he would, right? And probably talking the hind leg of a donkey to the both of them. So he came back into McDonald's. I said, what was the fascination there? Like, why just Checkpoint Charlie? And he said, son, you have to realise that in the mid-60s, in the midst of the Cold War, he says, I was a teenager. So I was hearing about Checkpoint Charlie. And especially if you cross Checkpoint Charlie, you could have been shot dead. He said, I'm standing at it. He said, I can now relate to something completely in my teenage years.
Wow.
And he was absolutely blown away. So those two wee memories I'll never forget with him. And thankfully I'm able to have with him. You know, and maybe facilitate those memories for him.
Sure.
So he's a remarkable wee man. You'll never get another Jim Perry, like.
Yeah.
Definitely not.
Well,
but his big thing is, yeah, he can talk for Ireland. But that's not really a downside.
I think you might have got some of that yourself.
I think I would have. I'm definitely my father's son. Definitely am.
What else is on your bucket list? So obviously you've the 2 more wonders of the world to.
The 2 more wonders of the world is definitely one. I want to learn how to play chess.
Well, okay.
Don't have a clue. And you think maybe that's maybe one thing I should know. Other things in the bucket list, I actually want to speak Irish as well, which is going to be difficult for me because I find languages quite hard. Okay. Some people would say I can't even speak English properly. You're probably right. But I do want to learn a bit more of that. I've that much in the bucket list. I want to learn the electric guitar. I'm a bit of a rock man. Right. A rock loving, heavy metal loving accountant. That's not very natural for people to. So yeah, I'd love to play the electric guitar at some point. But again, I'm not musical in the slightest, or so I think. The business stuff, hopefully we'll continue to keep on going with that. Sure. That's definitely on the bucket list to get that to grow. And that's really it at the minute. I've actually got a list written down. Wow. And there's so much on it I can't remember half of it. A lot of it was the travel, and I've got a lot of those ticked off. But yeah, that's really that. Yeah, there's one thing on the bucket list I want to be settled with. I'm a single guy, but I would actually love to find someone. Sure. Which is on the bucket list, which is a bit of an unusual one at 40 years of age. But hey, keep on looking. No, I think humans are designed to be. What was whenever we were talking, was the human needs? Remember we were that and talking about human needs, and definitely love is one. And love and connection. Love and connection. Hopefully it'll come about at some point. Because I think I have a lot to give to people. Sure. But the big one is, if I get the 8 wonders of the world, I'll be very, very happy at that. So next January probably will be Chichen Itza in Mexico. And then maybe later next year will be the Great Wall of China. But plenty of things to do. And Pete, the bucket list will never stop. I'll think of more things and I'll be added to the list as I go along. Sure. How about like you were saying, your father and surrounding themselves with books is you're never done. No. You're never done. Not at all. Yeah, and the bucket list probably is to read through the 300 other odd books I've got in my office. I've got about 100 done. I've got about 3, but then I've got, the good old thing of I keep on buying more books and more books. I'll read that at some stage. So I actually need to stop buying the bloody things. Sure. Actually, I was talking to someone about this last night. On the bucket list, this is a definite bucket list item, is to own a first edition Dracula. And I've seen one. I seen one in Dublin. I seen one in Dublin, actually around the corner from where Bram Stoker lived.
Oh wow!
And it was €6,000. And that, I should have got it, but didn't. And I went back 3 months later, and obviously it was gone. And I said, then what's the likelihood of ever seeing one? I said, we'll never see another one again. That's maybe a bucket list item, to buy a first edition Dracula. I think I screamed like a child when I never seen it. Yeah. So that's that. And actually tag on to that is to actually read the original Dracula book, which I have, the novel, written in diary format, but I want to go to Transylvania on Halloween, and I'll only read it whenever I'm there. Which is a crazy one. But definitely, go to Bran Castle, which is the historical Castle Dracula.
Oh wow.
And read it there. Again, see, I do things slightly different.
Yeah. Fair play.
Yeah.
So Fire in the Belly, how would you summarise it then?
I've got different fires in the belly. Loads of different fires in the belly. But I think I said at the start, it's the thing that makes you talk non-stop, which I think there's certain things I can just talk non-stop about. But it's those passions, it's those things that get you up in the morning. Fire in the belly is those things that make you.
Okay. Yeah.
And I think I've got quite an eclectic mix of things that make James Perry. You've got the accountant who's mad in Egypt, who loves Irish history but loves rock music and everything else in between, and is driven by his family, and it's just those things that make my eyes light up, and just to say, get you up in the morning.
Are you now, to take your own words?
Number what?
Are you your own person now? Are you?
I'm getting there. I can't quite say I'm me yet. There's still other aspects of my life that I need to dip into. Touching on the relationship piece, I know there's still bits to work through from mummy and who I attract into my life in terms of relationships. Sure. I know there's something to do with my mum that I need to work through. That's definitely something that I maybe ran away from. Definitely, I ran away from. So it's probably the other part that, so this entrepreneur bit has come out in James, this world traveller has come out in James, things that I never realised 5 years ago, this caring nature that I've always had. But the next thing is to try and just delve a wee bit more deep into that. So there you go. Any ladies listening to this podcast, you know where I am.
Listen, I genuinely appreciate you talking today and talking to me as well.
Enjoyed every second of it.
Yeah, no, I'm sure we'll have more follow-ups as well. So,
without a doubt. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Take care.
Well, that was another great episode of Fire in the Belly. This really wouldn't be possible without our great guests taking the time to share their personal journeys. And boy, sometimes it is personal. It's an absolute pleasure to have that, and then to hear the journeys that people have been on. We've loads more episodes coming up soon, and it's always a pleasure to have guests on. If you do happen to know anyone with true fire in their belly, please reach out to us so we can share their journey, lessons and successes. So, all that's left to say is have a great day, live with fire in your belly, and be the mightiest version of you.